Animal Farm by George Orwell was published in 1944. The full title was Animal Farm, a Fairy Story, and it is an allegory. To make his point, Orwell recreates the events of the Russian Revolution, the idealism behind it, the rise of Stalin, the betrayal of the original Marxist ideals, the birth of the modern socialist state, the totalitarian politics of the single-party system, and the economic dangers of socialism in one country. George Orwell was a left-wing sympathizer. He was not a Communist Party member, and he had followed the history of Russia with great interest. Like many young intellectuals of his generation, his hopes for the creation of a socialist utopia were destroyed with the rise of Stalin and the politics of the purges. Orwell recognized in Stalin's politics not only the failure of socialism in Russia, but also the impossibility of socialism in Britain too. The story of Animal Farm, as the title suggests, describes the happenings on a farm when the animals, angry about the way the human farmer Jones runs the farm and treats the animals, stage a successful revolution. They rid themselves of Jones, an allegorical Tsar, Nicholas, and his tame crow, which represents the church, and establish an equal system of government, a republic organized along socialist lines. The revolution is organized by the pigs, the most intelligent animals on the farm, but all the animals take part. Immediately after the revolution, the pigs draw up a series of fundamental laws or principles, a definition of their philosophy based on the teachings of the recently deceased pig, Old Major, that is modeled on Marx, and his philosophy of animalism. These points are written by one of the pigs on the wall of the barn. The 7 commandments say, number 1, whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. Number 2, whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend. Number 3, no animal shall wear clothes. Number 4, no animal shall sleep in a bed. 5, no animal shall drink alcohol. 6, no animal shall kill any other animal. 7, all animals are equal. Gradually, the day of the glorious revolution is forgotten as the farm is beset with economic problems due to its isolation from other farms and markets. To the animals, it seems that they are now working harder and eating less than ever before. In a sinister way, the pigs begin to show signs of corruption and inequality, which begins with the introduction of small benefits for themselves and ends with Napoleon, that evokes Stalin, seizing total power by force, expelling the honest Snowball, a type of Trotsky, and abandoning all the original ideals of the revolution. Napoleon, with his minister of propaganda, the pig squealer, and his secret police, specially trained killer dogs, established a new regime of inequality and oppression as bad as that created by Farmer Jones. Animal Farm depicts the revolutionary will turning full circle from idealism, struggle and revolution to counter-revolution, repression and the betrayal of ideals. The animals' 7 commandments are totally changed and cancelled one by one until the barn wall bears only one inscription. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. George Orwell's novel strikes the emotions and the imagination of the reader. It combines a magnificent simplicity with an astonishing eye for significant detail that is quite without precedent in this type of fairy story. The characterization of the animals is another excellent aspect of the work that is not so much a novel because it is shorter than a novel. It can be considered a fairy story or an allegory. Characters are both individualized and generalized. Squealer, the absurd little pig who acts as Napoleon's right hand, is also representative of the state of propaganda machinery that replaces real learning, real ideals, real emotions with banal catchphrases, easy to learn slogans, and ridiculous songs. Animal Farm moves easily from a specific criticism of Russia to an analysis of revolution in general. Orwell's final statement in this tragic fairy story is that a revolution, once it has abandoned honesty, truth, and clarity, results into oppression, cruelty, and exploitation. The new class of abuser will resemble in every shape and form the old abuser, which is just how the novel ends, with the poor animals looking through the window of the farmhouse where the corrupt pigs and the neighboring human farmers are drinking and gambling together. And they were alike. No question now what had happened to the faces of the pigs. The creature outside looked from pig to man, and from man to pig, and from pig to man again. But already it was impossible to say which was which. That is, in the end, the animals were still oppressed and obliged to work hard, while those who had promoted the ideals of the revolution became just like the abusers, the human abusers, Farmer Jones and the other humans. So what is the main theme of this beast fable? The main theme is that all revolutions fail, are destined to fail, to achieve the expectations of their promoters, and the ideals that inspired them are destroyed by the ruling elite, which concentrates power into its own hands. Tyranny is, by definition, evil. So the beast fable form allowed George Orwell to convey, to transmit a complex message, but using simple words, simple terms. In fact, Animal Farm is told in a plain, neutral style. The result is an impersonality which reinforces the satirical elements and at the same time stimulates thought and disturbs emotions.